We asked this question: is South Africa a failed state?
Does this mean that South Africa is becoming a failed state?
South Africa may become a failed state.
It is slowly becoming a failed state.
Is South Africa on its way to being a failed state?
Where is South Africa on the spectrum?
But the greatest threat to South Africa and to South Africans is Eskom.
The definition of a failed state is where a country's economy and political systems have become so weak that the government is no longer in control. So let's think of Zimbabwe, South Africa's neighbor. The extreme example would be a country like Somalia, where for the longest time there was lawlessness without a central government. Is South Africa on the verge of total collapse? Could the country with the third largest economy in Africa fail as a state? Why must I ask this question? I'll tell you why. Recently, the General Secretary of the ruling party, Mr. Fikile Mbalula, stated that South Africa could become a failed state if certain things are not resolved.
We are focused in terms of dealing with it. It is an Achilles heel, and I can't tell you tonight or any time that this is an easy matter for our government.
The load shedding or the blackouts. This is the elephant in the room that has brought the debate of failed state to the fore. Regardless of these blackouts or power cut, if we look at all the data from all economic indicators, South Africa has been trending the wrong way. The numbers don't lie. You may not agree with it, but those are the facts. Now, the following figures are concerning for the country. As a result of these blackouts, there are projections that South Africa is currently losing 51 million USA dollars every day. That's a lot of money. Put it around 1.5 billion USA dollars a month. Annually, those losses estimates to around 18 to 20 billion dollars. These are conservative figures. Regardless, 20 billion USA dollars is a sizable chunk of South Africa's gross domestic product, GDP. That is around 5% of it. The Reserve Bank of South Africa has forecasted economic growth reduction to 0.3% from 1.1% from the previous year. There is no any other parastatal than Eskom that is highlighting the situation or that is bringing this debate to the fore. Let us look at the drama that is Eskom. Eskom is the state-owned monopoly and largest power utility in South Africa, primary generator of electricity, and it is meant to provide the energy to fuel the economy, literally and figuratively. But these days, residents and companies may have no power, no electricity for up to 10 or 12 hours a day. Eskom powers the grid mostly using coal as the energy source, about 80% of it. Eskom operates 15 coal power stations, which are in need of repairs. As a result, these generators are prone to breakdowns as a result of years of mismanagement and lack of maintenance. There is relentless corruption, sabotage, and even threats to lives. Eskom is associated with one of the biggest scandals in South Africa. For some reason, some South Africans in power allowed a little-known family from India, the Gupta family, who only migrated to South Africa from India in 1993. The Gupta family became a sort of proxy government or the power behind the throne. The then former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, and his government were captured. Eskom was one of those parastatals that the Zumas and the Guptas or the Zuptas allegedly were able to capture and loot from its coffers. They managed to put their people in strategic positions, which included ministers and top officials in parastatal organizations, which enabled the looting to go unabated. President Zuma was kicked out of government in 2018 after serving as president from 2009 due to corruption allegations. However, the Gupta family managed to flee South Africa and they're believed to live in the United Arab Emirates.
And state capture in more ways than one really broke down the capability of the state.
As if that political interference wasn't enough, Eskom has suffered from mafia cartels. As claimed by Mr. De Ruta, the man who was chosen by the ANC government to lead Eskom out of its darkness. He confirmed cases of rampant corruption and sabotage. Let me tell you of one case. A contractor was hired for repairs in one of the coal mines. He actually then goes there, pulls a plug intentionally, which was connected to one of the main generation units. The unit broke down, causing another day of nationwide outages. The intention was to get hired again to fix the now bigger problem for a larger payday, which was now estimated at $1 million, with about $6 million lost in revenues for Eskom. This is done with connections within the organizations, and it is done at a larger scale. Mr. De Ruta was appointed as the CEO of Eskom in 2019, but by December 2022, he had resigned his position after being accused by the Government of Treasonous Act. If a government accuses me of Treasonous Act, I'm out. Allegedly, an attempt was made on his life the day after he resigned. It is alleged that he was poisoned with cyanide in his coffee at his office. The other issue of the coal mine emit large amounts of carbon dioxide, and they have been linked to health issues among the workers, and some have lost their lives and some are still struggling to get some payout from their loved ones or lost loved ones. These situations as well have been exacerbated by current difficulties facing the global economy, as well as the effects of COVID-19, the war in Ukraine and other unseen variables. This is just to be fair to the ANC government that it's not all of them. Everyone is suffering in this economic environment. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. Many have suggested that the South African situation requires both economic and political solutions. What does this mean? The economy of South Africa is third in GDP, gross domestic product, but South Africa remains the most industrialized, technologically advanced, and diverse of all economies in Africa. If you compare this to Nigerian economy, which depends on two main factors, which are finance and oil exports, the South African economy is way diverse. South Africa still has vast natural resources to be exploited. South Africa is blessed with untapped cleaner energy prospects. For instance, solar energy, as the country is sunny, can tap into that energy. There is also wind energy, which is largely unexploited. A combination of these clean energies can power the grid and the economy if these things are utilized. The prospects of small-scale battery plus inverter systems to meet household power needs, as well as large-scale solar with battery solutions, will also provide employment to the huge youth demographic. On the political side, there is the issue of leadership. Now, can the South African people cut ties with the ANC and try someone else? There is the upcoming election in 2024, but revolutionary political parties in Africa are difficult to dislodge from power. The DA will never rule South Africa again due to its association with apartheid. The EFF of Julius Malema, I believe, lacks the political power and capital to govern South Africa overall. Maybe the solution is a coalition of parties to provide South Africa with some sound opposition and sound leadership. It is actually in the interest of Africa as a whole for South Africa to thrive and to remain the economic powerhouse of Africa. But as the General Secretary Mbaluli of the ANC says, there are certain things which need to be done to resolve the situation. So leave your comments below. What do you think should be done in South Africa to come out of this crisis stronger?